So we were working on that Wonderland CTF, which is again web based. So we're going to continue working on that. So what was the last thing we had done on this machine in the previous session? Okay, so this is the IP. Let's just copy that, paste on. We are connected to the network. And we found out that uh, by focusing on that hint, we had already found one directory called R. And when we followed that further, this is where we reached. And if I look at the source code for the page, I'll see that there are some credentials that I can use to log in to the system. So let me just, okay. Now what I'll do is I'll use SSH and come back here, see what's the username in these credentials. Okay. Alice is the username. So Alice, IP, yes. Now we'll need to enter the password. So let's just copy that first and we enter it here. So now we are able to log in on this system. Let us first take a quick check as to where we are. Now we are in the home directory for the Alice user and we are logged in as Alice. So let's see what kind of files we have. So there are two files, root.txt and there's this Python script named Walrus and the Carpenter. If I take a look at the permissions for this file, okay, I can't even access the root.txt file because normally that's only accessible by root and that is the root flag. Now the next thing is the Python script that is present here. But I don't have permissions to execute the script either. Okay, so when I perform this check with sudo -l to see what commands I'm allowed to use with sudo on this system, I get this result. So it says user Alice may run the following commands on Wonderland, which is this host. So this is basically the Python binary and used to execute this script. So this entire command can be run by user Alice as the user rabbit. So let's try doing that. So what we need to do is sudo. Now, since we are not going to be running this command as root, we need to specify the option -u and followed by the username, which is rabbit in this case, t, and just copy this entire command. If I were to just write Python and the name of the script, that is not going to work. You need to copy the entire thing and then paste it. So if I do this, so it executes this program. And if I just take a look at the content of that Python script, so okay, import random poem is equal to, so they are storing this poem in a variable. Okay, so this the poem, and after that there is a for loop which runs 10 times. And what this loop does is every time it runs, a line from this poem is selected at random and it is printed. So this happens 10 times. So again, if I were to run this command, so it runs it 10 times. Now the lines will be different because they are randomly chosen, but still it's going to do the same thing. And these blank lines that you see, that's because sometimes it's selecting these lines. But however, the thing is, this is not really going to help us in any way. Okay, just printing poems on the screen is not really of any benefit to us. It does not really help us in any way whatsoever. Okay, before I move any further, let me just come back here. Now for this flag, the hint, there's a hint here. It says everything is upside down here. Okay, and the flag is in a file called user.txt, the user flag, and the root flag is in a file called root.txt. So root.txt, as we've seen, it's in the user directory. So where should the user.txt, the user flag be? See, if the root flag is in the user directory and it says everything is upside down here, then where should the user flag be? The user flag would be in the root directory, going by this logic. So let's check that out. Let's check the permissions for root, the root directory. Okay, this is the root directory, and okay, take a look. Normally, you just have read, write, and execute permissions for the root account on this directory, but we also have execute permissions here. So Can anyone tell me what do we like? What does execute permission on a directory specify? Can anyone tell me that? Like, what does it indicate? What does it mean if a directory has execute permission, but no other permission, just execute? No, no one. Okay. See, execute permission means that we can enter the directory. That's what execute permission on a directory means. Yeah, X is execute, yes, but for a file or a script, it means that you can execute that, you can run that. For a directory, it means that you can enter that directory. So for this root directory, we have execute permissions. Okay, so this third group of permissions which we belong to currently, that is execute. So if I try to enter the directory, I am able to do so. Now let's see what files are present here. So I cannot run ls. I cannot see the contents of this directory. Why? Because I do not have read permissions. I just have execute. I cannot modify any contents and I cannot run commands like ls. However, based on our previous deduction, this user.txt or the user flag should be present here. So we can just try to access it. Okay, so what I can say is cat, and we know that the root flag is root.txt, so the user flag should be, so root flag is root.txt, so user flag should be user.txt. So let's try that, see what happens. And okay, we have the flag now. So this is the user flag. Now we just have one more flag to find on the system, which is the root flag. We know where it is, but we don't have the permissions to currently access it. Okay. Now we can try further enumeration. We can just try to see if there is some setuid files here. Okay, so the results that we have here, we don't really have anything that can be, you know, there's nothing that can be used for this purpose. So this set UID method is not going to work for us here. But if they have given us this Python script, must be there for a reason, must be some way for us to exploit this somehow and perform privilege escalation. Does anyone have any idea, any suggestion about how we could proceed with that? based on just looking at this program. Now see, the poem part is not going to help us. Okay, it's just a poem, it's a string of characters. There's nothing we can do about that. But there is something that can help us here. Let's see if you can figure it out. No, okay, are any of you familiar with Python programming? If you are, this would become easier for you to understand. Even if not, no worries. If you are familiar with it, then this will be a little easy to grasp. Okay, so ignore this poem part for now, just focus on this one line. Okay, so it says import random. Now, what this import random means is that, no, okay, not just in Python, but for any programming language, okay, C, C++, Java, whatever you use, there are a lot of inbuilt libraries and inbuilt functions that come with the programming language. So the creators of the language, they have included those functions, those libraries that we can use in our own code. But those libraries or those functions, they are not included with every script that you make. If you want to include some of that in your code, you'll have to specify that, okay, this is the library or this is the function that I want to import or include within my script or within my code. So this import random, what it's doing is it's telling Python that, okay, there is a module known as random. I would like to make use of that in my program. So that is the main usage of things like import. And you will see a similar thing with Java. You also have import with Java. Or if you're working on C, you will have include, which is just the keyword is different, but it has the same kind of purpose. So when it's saying import random, it means that we want to include the module which is known as random, and all its libraries should be available to us in this script, in this Python script, or in this Python program, whatever you want to call it. However, this can also work in a slightly different way. Let's say that I have a custom piece of code. Okay, I have a custom program. Custom as in like not pre-installed with the language itself, but it's something that I've created. So a user created script or code, and I want to include that in my program. So even in that case, I'll be using the same thing, import, and I'll write the name just without the extension. So let's say if I want to include this particular program in some other Python program that I make, then I would be writing import Walrus and the carpenter. I will be omitting this .py part. So now that I've told you this, can you think of a way that we can use this code to our advantage? Use this script, this walrus and the carpenter py this Python script. No? Okay, see. What I can do is I can write my own script in Python and I can save it with the name random.py. So the py is for Python scripts. That's the extension. And I can keep it in the same directory as this file. So when this import random happens, it is going to see that there is a random.python.py script here in this directory itself, and it's going to load that instead of the original random module. Now I can make use of that, and what I can do is when in this code that random is actually called, then instead of the actual usage, my custom code will run. Now if I look at the permissions here, I cannot modify this file itself. Okay, so that is not an option. I cannot make any modifications to this file. I can try creating a new file, random.py. I'm going to use Nano as the editor for it. So what should I write here? Keep in mind that when we are running this script, Walrus and the Carpenter, that Python script, when it is being executed, we are running that as the other user, that Rabbit user. So we are running it with the privileges of that user, not with the privileges of our currently logged in account, which is Alice. So what can I write here that would potentially be of help to me? Okay, see with Python, we've been using a code to get a better shell. Okay, I can use the same code. So import pty. So we are also importing a Python library, and I'm using that to spawn a shell. Save, yes, of course. Now let's try running this command again, like this one. Let's see what happens. Password for Alice. Okay, I just have to copy that. Okay, so if you can see, we are now Rabbit. So we have performed privilege escalation, and instead of the Alice account, we are now logged in as the Rabbit account. And where are we currently? We are in Alice's folder, Alice's directory. Who am I? Just to confirm, I'm Rabbit. Okay, so let's go one directory up. Now, as this Rabbit account, we have permissions to the Rabbit account's home directory as well. So let's go there and maybe we'll find something. Okay, so there is this executable file. Okay, it's a file. We don't know whether it's an executable. ELF. Okay, so it's an executable file, and okay, it has the set UID bit set. Okay, now if I just run this file, if I just try to execute this file, because as you can see, everyone has execute permissions here. So if I just try to execute it, it says it okay. It's giving me some text. Welcome to the tea party. The Mad Hatter will be here soon, probably by Tuesday, 8 December. Okay, this is just today's date and just some random time. Ask very nicely, and I'll give you some tea while you wait for him. Now, whatever you write here, okay, it says ask very nicely, but whatever you'll write here, it's not going to matter. It's just going to say segmentation fault, code dumped. So it does not really look like this code is going to be doing much for us, but okay, we'll continue. What we can do now is now see, this is not like a program. This is not a C code or a Python code. This is an executable file. So we're not going to be exactly looking at it like a code, but what we can do is we can use this strings command to look for human readable strings in this executable. Okay, it says strings not found. Okay, it's not found. Maybe we'll just try to. Now, since this is an executable, a lot of this stuff, okay, is not really going to be human readable, but there is still some part of it that we can read. Okay, so this is the part that is readable for us. The rest is not, we cannot do anything with the rest, but this is still readable. Okay, so if we take a closer look at it, says welcome to the tea party. Okay, the Mad Hatter. Okay, we already know this. Probably by and okay, so now this is a system command. So bin echo probably by and date. So this is a system command that is running just like echo is, and date is equal to next hour. Okay, now this in this whole sentence there is this system command which is being used here. So any ideas on how to use this to our advantage? Just like we saw similarly, we could introduce something of our own. Now we have figured out that there is a system command which is being run here. Is there a way to use this to our advantage? Can we introduce our own version of this file, and so that when this program runs, instead of the actual system command, which is date, our custom version of date will run. Can we do that? Okay, we can try. Whether it works or not, we'll find out, but we can most definitely try. And the way we are going to do that is, so it's somewhat similar to what we did previously, but there are a couple of steps that are different. Now, let's just okay. Now, since I'm logged in as a rabbit, I can make changes to this rabbit account. Sorry, not this account, this directory. That's what I mean. So, can I like create a new file? Okay, so we can create a new file. Now, okay, so within that file again, we can try to get it to have a shell to be spawned. This time, of course, there's no use in Python. We just have to directly specify that we want to use a shell. Okay, so now this is something that uh, we tackle in the next session. Try to think about what we could use in that file, what we could write there, and what extra steps will we need to do as compared to what we did for the Python file.